Before I end, however, I want to mention one thing which is very interesting. You see, there was something standing in the way. Whenever the Jews sin, it always stands as an obstacle to a merit that they should get. What God dismissed, which is thank God for that, is Friday there was supposed to be a parade, the Gay Pride Parade, and it was canceled. Thank God for that, because that would have invited a terrible disaster. Maybe that's one of the reasons why Israel is being punished by being subjected to death at the hands of Iran, because they wanted to have that Gay Pride Parade. But thank God it was prevented. So fortunately, that did not stand to impede the success of the Jews, against Iran, because they need all the merits that they can get, which is very important. But there's one thing I want to mention before I sign off. Trump is making a tremendous mistake. Look, he's a very intelligent person, and I do not come to criticize him, his personality or his character and so on, but I do criticize his decision. He doesn't understand something. Peace is a value, tremendous value. That's true. You always want peace. But there's a time that peace, that war is peace. And there's a tremendous mitzvah, merit, to go to war. And he is making a mistake. What does that mean? I will tell you. There's evil and there's evil. There are people, we all do evil of some sort. I mean, we all sin, we know that. But we do it, we do it to a single person, a group of people, whatever it is. We insult somebody, we shame somebody, we speak lashon hara about somebody, okay. But then there are people that their whole character structure is evil. Iran is not just an evil nation. It is a nation that will destroy civilization because of their religion. Look, you want to be religious, you want to be a Muslim, fine, okay, then do it. That's what you want to believe in, okay. I respect what you want to believe in. I may not believe in it, but I respect your ability and your right to believe, fine, okay. But where do you get the right, the nerve, to kill people because they don't agree with you? Let God judge them. That's all. If you hold they're wrong, then God will hold that they're wrong. He will talk to them, whatever, and he will convict them. Fine. It's his world. It's his creation. Let him take over. Where do you get the right to kill them? Them, their wives, their kids, their entire life. Where do you get the right to do this? Because he doesn't believe what you believe. You want to try to convince him? Fine. Okay. But you can't kill the guy and destroy him because he doesn't hold like you. Do you have any idea what kind of evil that is? Terrible. What Iran has been doing since 1979, since Khomeini took over, is destroying part of the world. Do you have any idea how much fear, terror, death, suffering has been done by Iran since 1979? The death of one person can never be justified by Iran, let alone the wholesale slaughter of people. Therefore, they are not merely an evil. They are an incredible cancer that is destroying civilization. If they get a nuclear weapon, it's over for civilization. Because then not only will they use it, which of course we know they will, because they hold that the only way the 12th Imam, Shiites believe, can come is if the world is destroyed. Excuse me, what? That's what they believe. So therefore they have to use the bomb. But it's not only them. Every proxy is going to use it. Everybody's going to want a bomb to protect themselves against Iran. You have any idea what it is if Hamas has a bomb, Hezbollah, whatever's left of them, the Houthis, right? Or all the other Islamic nations that hate Israel? This world will turn into an inferno, right? Why? Because Iran cannot have the bomb. You know, it's the end of civilization. It's what's called an end game. That's what it's called. So what do you mean we want peace? Well, I'm a peace guy. I don't want a war with Iran. I hate to say it. What is wrong with you? You have any idea what kind of a mitzvah it is to destroy the mullahs? To destroy Iran? To save the world from untold misery? It's an unbelievable mitzvah that God will thank you and reward you profusely. So how could you say what Trump should do is he should join Israel, not just give Israel weapons, and be part of the mitzvah. Uvi'arto horomi kirbecha, and you will destroy the evil from your midst. Right? V'chol ha'am yiru v'yishmo, and all the nation will see. This is in the Torah. All the nation will see and hear that destruction of evil. And they will no longer do this evil. This is a commandment by God, because God does not want his world destroyed. So what does it mean to make peace with Iran? What does that even mean? These are murderers. These are people that want to kill you if you don't believe. They want to kill Israel. They want to wipe out every Jew. Why? What did Israel do to them? Did the UN, who is enjoined to stop any nation from wanting to kill a member nation, where are they? How do they allow Iran to threaten Israel when it is illegal for any nation of the UN to threaten another nation, member nation? They say nothing. I don't even want to be around. You know, who wants to be a million miles from the UN when God comes after them for the mockery that they have made of world peace? So my question is, where is Trump? What do you mean you want peace? What, you don't negotiate with Iran. Don't you understand what Islam is? You can't negotiate with Islam. Where's your common sense? There's certain things that will never change, and you know that. So you want to give them a warning just to be fair? Okay. But that's it. You give them a warning and that's it. You go after them. You join Israel in destroying not an enemy of Israel, but the enemy of mankind, right? The enemy of the world. You're looking at God's civilization, and you will have the merit of having brought true peace by war to the world. In fact, it'll be one of the greatest moments of peace ever known when you take out Iran. Because the world will look and see, wow, the U.S. doesn't tolerate chicanery, fraud, imposter. They don't, you know, you threaten the world, you know, you want to do evil. Evil is one thing. Destruction is another. And we will not allow that. That's really what the U.S. should say. Why are you warring with Afghanistan? You know, they do things. People will always, nations will always war with each other. But each war has a rationale behind it. How destructive is it to civilization? Iran isn't just destructive to civilization. Like I say, it's destructive to the entire planet. They get the bomb, it's over. Get that through your head. It's over. They cannot change. They will not change. Why? Because it's their identity. They're nobody without a bomb. And you know that. There used to be somebody with Hezbollah. There used to be somebody with Hamas with the Houthis, whatever, they used to feel like somebody because that's the only way they can get an ego. Right. Now that Israel is taking it out miraculously, and that shows you that the sparks of holiness are gone from Yishmael. How do you think they did this miracle? Was it their brilliant military acumen, the pages, right? And all the way they took out the Muslims and going, this is God, this is not just man, and so on. So do you think this was an accident? It's because Iran is collapsing. Ishmael is collapsing, you see. So how do you allow, there are certain nations you have to take out and say, listen, you want to do evil, that's up to you, what you think is evil. Okay, every nation does things that are bad for it. Okay, we cannot interfere, we're not the cops of the world. But when you threaten an entire region, and you threaten the fabric of civilization itself, we are not going to allow you to destroy this planet. Who are you anyway? Who are you? You're a bunch of nobodies. You want to worship your religion? Fine, do so. But don't threaten civilization. Don't threaten my ability to live. That's what Trump should say. And he should get off his high horse of high merit and so on. Because he doesn't know what he's talking about. It's a mitzvah gemura. It's a complete mitzvah to wipe out Iran. And I don't mean the people of Iran. Because they're people. They want to live like everybody else. I mean, the mullahs, they will destroy. And who are they? They're nobodies, basically, right? They decide on your life. Where do they get a right to decide on your existence? Who are they? Anyway, like I said, and so on. So what he should do, if he was smart, is go in with Israel and wipe them out. And he could do it in 1 day or 3 days flat. All right. And he will teach the world what the fear of righteousness is, and so on. I have this to say, even though I hate to say it, because I hold very much from Trump and so on. I hold he's a brilliant guy, and he really knows what he's doing. He's really great. But he is making a fundamental flaw, and I hold it's satanic driven, right? That he's driven by the Satan with this kind of idea. He's aiding and abetting one of the most evil regimes ever known in terms of the amount of mayhem and murder and torture that they do and that they've done, who they've killed in Iran. And not only that, it's more than that. They enslaved their entire world, nation. Iran is slaves. Why? Where did the mullahs get the right to enslave a country? What do they have? I think 90 million people? Where did they get the right to enslave 90 million people? I don't care what they believe. You ever know what kind of sin that is? 90 million people are slaves? For what? Where did they get the right for this? Who are they? So where are you? There are certain causes that you must do. And not only that, guess what? God is going to talk to you after 120 years. And believe me, you're not going to like the discussion. Right? Because you had a chance to honor him and to honor world peace and to display some sort of real common sense righteousness. And you didn't. What do you think he's going to do? And believe me, he doesn't take bribes. And he couldn't care a whit if you were president of the United States. He expects you that have the power. In fact, that's why he gave you the power. Why do you think he saved you in Butler, Pennsylvania? To do what? To make America great? America's only one nation among 8 billion people. He cares for every person, not just for Americans. So stop thinking, although you have an obligation to save America, which is true, because you're the president of America. But he doesn't only love Americans. He loves mankind in general. Not only the Jews, of course, but he loves mankind in general. So he saved your life to save his world, not just to save America. So why are you think that you only have to save America? Now, of course, you don't have to save everybody. That's true. And therefore, you are right that peace is required. And therefore, it requires you to try to negotiate and not start wars. But there are times that God says, you need to go to war. God says that. You see that in the Torah, that God commanded Israel to war with Amalek, right? So war is justified. And you will get a tremendous reward, and America will get the reward for destroying this type of evil. So please think about it. You were saved from Butler, Pennsylvania to do God's work, not to save America. Although America is part of God's work, which is true. But think about it. You were saved to save the world, and you have the power. And you don't want to have to sit down with God and have a conversation with him. Where were you when I saved you from that bullet and I gave you the power of untold success? I saved you from every indictment. You have any idea what kind of miracle that is, to get away from the entire array of the government forces to try to destroy you? It takes a God to save you from all those kinds of indictments, right? Why? Because I decide, God says, who lives, who is in power, and who will succeed. And I picked you to be an agent of salvation for my world. So you need to do the job. Get rid of them. Because not only will you save the world, you will save my chosen people, right? And you cannot even begin to imagine the reward that I have in store for them and for you and all those people that would aid and abet you to get rid of the evil. Be smart. You have an unbelievable, once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to do this. Please, for your sake, do it. Don't renege, and don't, just lax off in terms of doing this great deed and so on, Go in with the Jews, wipe them out. And I don't mean the Iranian people. They have a right to a nation like every other nation. Get rid of the Muslims that want to destroy my world. Thank you.